Hey y'all, welcome back to Mama Loves Manga. So I've mentioned before in I think several videos that I am a minimalist. I'm laughing because I mean the word minimalist and minimalism, it's so subjective. Some people might look at like my shelves and be like, girl, you ain't no minimalist. But for me, I definitely consider myself to be a minimalist. There's just certain things that I like to have more of than others, and manga is one of them. The point is that minimalism is helping me to not go too crazy at the bookstores, but it's not keeping me from buying it all. So here's a haul for y'all. I'm going to start with the titles I purchased from a shop called Time Warp. It is a comic shop in Boulder, Colorado. I've mentioned Colorado probably a lot on this channel because my family lives up there, and when I go visit, I just like to go around and see what kind of local stuff they have. And I don't know, Boulder is such an interesting, eclectic place, and they have some pretty good bookstores and comic shops and all that jazz. So I wanted to go to this comic shop, and I got a cute little stack, you know, not too much, but you know, it is what it is. So we're gonna start from the top. First I have 7 Billion Needles Volume 1 by Nobuaki Tadano. Honestly, I purchased this because I thought the cover looked really interesting. It just, you know, this really fits into the weird stuff that I like. It looks like someone's skin was maybe just disintegrated off of them, and I don't know why, but I was like, I want to read this. If you're curious about the synopsis, I'm going to turn this around and you can go ahead and pause it and read it, because honestly, when I stop to read these things, it takes too long. Next I have volumes 2 and, wait, not 2 and 3, 3 and 4. Wow. Next I have volumes 3 and 4 of Nichijou, My Ordinary Life by Keiichi Araui. This is a slice of life series that is weird and strange and hilarious and funny and wholesome and cute, and I love it so much. If you haven't started reading this, I highly recommend it. If you love slice of life with a surreal twist to it. Next I have Biker Girl by Misako Rocks, which honestly, her pen name made me smile. I think that's adorable. I initially bought this because it was on sale for 50 cents and the cover looked really interesting. I like the color scheme. I liked the title. I liked the author's name. Next I have Wandering Island by Kenji Tsuruta. I really thought the cover was pretty. I love the color scheme. I love that it almost looks, would that be considered like watercolor-ish? I don't know, I'm not really an artist, but I love the way the cover is. And if you open it all the way, you can see the whole thing. Actually, I think this whole does this come off? No. I just noticed the cat on the cover. Oh my goodness, so cute. Oh. Yeah, I'm really excited about this one. Next I have Barefoot Jin, a cartoon story of Hiroshima, Volume 1 by Keiji Nakazawa. This is not something that I would normally pick up because it's more of a memoir, and it's about Hiroshima, and it's probably going to be sad. And it's probably not going to be an easy read, but I don't know, I saw it and I was intrigued by it. I felt this need to go ahead and pick it up because, you know, I tend to read a lot of fictional, like slice of life stories that just makes life look so cute and fun. And I think that it's good to read things that remind you of how life can be, how life has been for other people. And yeah, I just felt like I needed to read something that was a little less fantasy, cutesy, and I'm curious. I'm curious about people, not just fictional people, but also real life people, and to see how other people have lived their lives, how they are living. And yeah, this is not going to be one of those stories that I'm like, oh, it's so cute, but I do think this is going to be a good read. Next I have Okimono Kimono by Clamps Mokona. If you know anything about Clamp, you know that Clamp is a group of manga artists, and they have been working together for a long time. I am a huge fan of Clamp. I love almost everything that they do. I'm trying so hard to collect anything Clamp related. So when I saw this, I had to grab it. Oh my gosh, look at these kimonos. Okay, see, I'm doing too much. Anyway, I'm really excited to look through this. This may end up being like a coffee table book, but then again, I don't know if I want to let other people touch it and get their dirty hands on this cuteness. I don't know. So the final book I purchased for myself from Time Warp is actually a graphic novel. It is called Wet Moon by Sophie Campbell. I do enjoy Western graphic novels, though I don't collect as many titles as I do with like manga. But when I was walking around in that store, they have a huge selection of graphic novels, from American to European to just all of these types of graphic novels, and I was floored and also overwhelmed. But as I was kind of looking and skimming, I happened to see this, and honestly, it was the title that intrigued me. I was like, Wet Moon, what is that about? So I pulled it out, and then I really liked the cover. I like the color. I like how angsty this girl looks. And then I read the back and I was like, okay, I might be interested in this. Then I opened it up and I skimmed through just to look at the art style. And one thing I noticed that I enjoyed is the fact that the characters seem to be diverse. Now, I know that a lot of people get really irritated when they hear the word diversity. Oh, they get so triggered. But here's the thing. I'm one of those people who believes that for me, I have the most fun reading any story when it is written from an authentic place. So in some cases, I am completely fine when there's not quote unquote diversity when it comes to like skin color or ethnicity, because for some people, they're authentic places that they just they haven't really met a lot of people that are different from them, right? So I'm not out here trying to tell everyone that they have to write stories with like Black people, for example. It's fine. You don't have to do that. However, I am really a big fan of supporting authors that do seem to authentically add people of color or people from different religions or people just from different backgrounds in general into their stories. If you read manga like I read manga, you know that a lot of manga titles, you don't see a whole lot of diversity. Most of the characters are Japanese, or you might get the occasional like American, and they're typically white. Every now and then you might get a dark-skinned character. If you're a Japanese person and you're writing a story about life in Japan, following Japanese people, then I fully expect the majority of the characters to be Japanese. But if you live in places like America, Canada, maybe certain places in Europe, like England or something, I think, you know, it makes more sense to see diverse characters, and it would be weird if there wasn't at least like one person of color, because we're everywhere. We're everywhere. Like the town I live in is probably 98% white, but I'm here, you know what I mean? So like we exist. Wow, this was supposed to be a completely different, this is not, I might even cut all of this out. While we were in Boulder, I could not help but stop by Barnes & Noble to check out their manga selection. From what I've noticed, the manga collection at Barnes & Noble really varies from place to place. And I would say that Boulder's Barnes & Noble didn't have the largest selection. I was actually a little surprised because Barnes & Noble usually has a pretty good one. But yeah, I don't know, I was a little surprised and disappointed, but I still found some things, so let's get into this little tiny stack. First we have Dragon Half Volume 2 by Ryusuke Mita. The first volume was so funny and ridiculous. I'm not going to show you the back of this because I don't want to ruin anything. So yeah, but basically this follows a young woman who is half dragon, half human. And you'll have to read the first volume if you want to know how that happens, or you can always just Google it, that's fine too. Next I bought volumes 1 and 2 of Giant Spider and Me, a post-apocalyptic tale by Kikori Morino. This was an interesting purchase for me because I actually hate spiders. However, this spider is really cute. If that is not the cutest little thing, I still don't want it in my house, but it's cute. Next I have volumes 1, 2, and 3 of Himouto Umaru-chan. Wow, I'm so bad at Japanese. Anyway, this is by Sankaku Head, and I actually read the first volume on my Kindle and decided to hold off reading it on my Kindle so that I could start collecting the physical copies instead. And I really can't wait to continue on with this series. I think it's adorable. I relate so much to Umaru-chan. We are kind of very similar. This is a fun read and I enjoy it. Next I purchased volume 2 of New Game by Shotaro Tokuno. The first volume it was so cute. I can't even. The first volume was so cute, so of course I had to go ahead and buy volume 2. Can't wait to read this. Apparently there is also an anime, and when I get the time, I'm going to sit down and watch the anime. I actually really enjoy anime. I just no longer have as much time as I used to way back in the day to watch it. But I would like to start watching the anime of series that I really enjoy. So maybe that'll be something that I do soon. We will see, I don't know. But in any case, I'm really enjoying this series so far, and I mean, look at this, look. And speaking of cute, I have volume 1 of Hakume and Mikochi, Tiny Little Life in the Woods by Takuro Kashiki. I don't even know anything about this series, but I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, look how cute this cover is. Just so freaking cute. They look like little fairies or little gnomes or just little tiny magical people, and I was intrigued. I'm going into this hoping that it's similar to Girls Last Tour. I don't know if I've mentioned that series on my channel yet, but it's one of my favorite slice of life series. I don't expect it to be exactly the same, but I have a feeling this is going to have a similar feel, and I would absolutely love that. It just looks really adorable, and I think I'm going to love it. I hope I do, because this was $15. Anyway, that is my haul. This is actually only the second haul I've done on this channel. It's not that I'm not buying manga, I just typically don't really do hauls here. I'm not really sure why. I think part of it's because I don't want people to watch videos and feel like they have to go out and buy a whole bunch of books. I'm one of those who, you know, when I buy stuff, I also actually read it. One of my pet peeves is when I see people just buying books and then they're like, oh yeah, it's on my TBR, and their TBR shelves are humongous, and I just think, why are you buying books if you're not going to read them? But then I also remind myself that it's none of my business. I'm not paying their bills. People can do whatever they want. I really want to read these, but listen guys, so I am currently rereading Fruits Basket. It's the series that I've had the longest on my shelves. It was the first series I ever started reading, and I have had this exact, where is it? I've had this exact collection since I first started reading it in 2006. and until it ended. I don't remember what year it ended, but in any case, I've had this collection for a long time, and this is the first time I'm rereading it since I finished the last volume. So I'm having fun rereading Fruits Basket, and I want to come back and do like a full review. I don't know if I'm going to cut it. I think I'm gonna cut it in half maybe and do like 2 separate videos instead of trying to do all of it in one. It's been fun for me to reread it and see if my feelings about this series has changed, and I will tell you so far my feelings have not changed. I am just enjoying reading it, and but it's interesting because I'm reading it as like an adult, because when I first read Fruits Basket I was in my early 20s. Now it's, you know, a decade later, and I'm reading it with I have so many other experiences under my belt, and I'm kind of reading it like a mom. I'm reading it from a mom's perspective, and it's just so heartwarming and cute, and I should just save this for the actual video. So stay tuned for the Fruits Baskets videos. Yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next one. Bye. I wasn't even recording.